Alright, I'm here to do Alina's interview, and I'm not very good at this, obviously. I can type out answers left and right, but I'm not very good at video. So here we go. Alina asks, when you're writing, what is a good day's work? Do you have a minimum word count, or is it more about getting an idea down on paper? That varies for me. Sometimes I can write 1,000, sometimes 2,000. Some days I'm doing nothing but editing and going back over my stuff, and I don't give myself any minimum word count because it just means I might not make it. Sometimes I write when I'm at work at lunchtime and I run out of time. So anytime I get anything out, I call that a good day. How do you visualize your writing? Do you see it like a movie on a screen through the eyes of a character? And do you feel bad when you kill a good character? I always imagine it like in my head, rolling in my head like a movie. I actually physically play it all out in my head. I don't know why, but I do. I started carrying a voice recorder on the way home when I drive because I come up with ideas when I'm driving home on my long commute. I come up with ideas when I'm in the shower, which I can't really have a voice recorder in there, so I rush out and I write it down real quick and hope I remember it. Do I feel bad killing off a good character? Oh yeah, I cry. Even if I'm editing the same book over and over, I cry every time at the same damn scene. Do you have any pets? Ugh. We have 2 cats. They're kind of getting old. One of them's getting excessively needy, which is not usual for a cat. You know, most of them just could care less what you do. You know how they always say cats are assholes, and that's the truth. My husband has a dog, a mastiff. Yes, I said he has a dog. Dog has gone through 2 sets of sofas. We're on our 3rd. If it were up to me, it'd be gone after the first one, but he likes the dog, so we're going to keep it. She doesn't tear him up anymore, so I guess it's a good thing. When did you know you wanted to be a writer? Oh, God, always. Even back when I was reading Nancy Drew books, I actually had created my own Veronica Smith. Well, no, not Veronica Smith. I'm married now, so Veronica Costa mystery books, and I made myself the character in the books. And I got quite a few chapters in. I have no clue where any of that is anymore. I used to write poetry all the time. In fact, when I found out I was pregnant, I wrote a poem to my husband telling him about the pregnancy. That's how he found out. What is the first thing you wrote that made you think you could take it further? Oh, that's easy. I wrote a story called A Very Zombie Christmas, and I submitted it to an anthology, which is the first time I'd ever done that before, even though I've been writing stuff and just setting it aside. And it was accepted. And I thought that was just the neatest thing in the world, so I kept trying. It's like Lay's potato chips. You can't just do one. You have to keep going. And I've been doing it ever since. How do you start writing a story or a book? Does it start with a character theme? Do you have an outline? Oh, I'm not organized whatsoever. When it comes to a story, if I get the idea, I just type out all the crap right at the top of the page, and then below it, I start typing out the story. I don't type in any order. I've written the end of a story before the beginning or the middle, and then as I type out all the information, I erase it all at the top. And then I just get it out the first time, and then I go over it. I go over all my stuff at least 3 times. So, and then, editing and everything. But when I do the book, I like to use OneNote because it has all these tabs. You can do timelines on one, characters on another, and keep track of it. When I wrote Salvation, I didn't do that to start with, and I wish to God I had. I was doing my first go-over after I finished it, and I was putting all the stuff on OneNote as I went so I could make sure I had everything correct. Oh, I'm so glad I did. I found all these issues, dates were wrong. I found a character who died, and then 3 chapters later, suddenly he's there again, and he wasn't a zombie or anything, so he wasn't supposed to be there. So this book that I'm doing now, I'm doing it at the beginning. I'm doing it as I go, and I won't have that same issue, I hope. Let's see. What inspires you to write? Oh, hell, it's fun. Where else can you kill somebody and get away with it? I mean, it's legal. Nobody can arrest you for what's in your mind. Plus, I really get a kick out of the look on my husband's face when he reads what I wrote. And he always wonders who the hell I married. But it's good. It's a way to escape. It's just as good as reading because you can make anything happen in a story or a book. You can do whatever you want. Somebody wants to read it, probably. I hope. What are you writing at the moment? What plans do you have for the future? Well, I'm multitasking right now. I'm working on my book. It's a young adult zombie novel. It's based on my short story, The Treehouse, that I wrote for the Bite-Sized Offerings anthology. Misty loved the story and bugged me several times about making a book of it, and so now I am, and I'm about 20,000 words into that right now. I still don't have a title, but I'm not worried about it. When I wrote Salvation, I was halfway through the book before I even thought of a title. A title will come to you when it comes to you. I'm not worried about that at all. I just finished 3 short stories, and I've submitted all 3. Yes. One of them is to Alex Johnson's Floppy Shoes Anthology 5 Space Clown Apocalypse. I have never, ever written or read anything about clown horror. This is the first time I've ever done it. But you know what? I really got into it. Once I started doing it, it was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. I might try it again, too. I just submitted a Western horror story to Chuck Anderson's, what was that called? Tales of the Braided Pony. And he's the one that wrote the amazing Black Irish and the Dark Molly series. And I found out I was accepted. Thank you, Chuck. And I just submitted one to Southern Fried Autopsies Anthology. This one's really close to me because the main character, although it's a man, is based on me. It is it's based on a guy who has misophonia, and I'm sure I'm butchering that. And it's a condition where you hear other people chew, and it sounds like really loud in your ear, and it gets exaggerated and drives you crazy. And that's me. My office mate does that all day. So even though it's a guy in the story, it's kind of exactly what I'm going through, although I promise I did not do to him what my character did in the story. I have several other stories I may or may not do. I have unfinished stories, over a dozen of them. I also have 4 other books that I've started. One of them is a sequel to Chalk Outline, my novella. I don't know when I'll do that one either. What is on your Kindle and your to-read list? Oh, boy. I have a lot right now. Right now, I'm beta reading Grid Wraith by Mark Healy. I read several of his other books, and they were really good, and I'm really getting into this one. I'm about a quarter of the way through, and I really am enjoying it. And then after that, I'm thinking of I want to read Mayan Blue by the Sisters of Slaughter. Yes, I know I promised y'all I was going to read that, but I have not gotten a chance to yet. But it is next on my to-be read list. Okay, it's after 9 p.m. here. I'm tired. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting work on their first novel? Just do it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. Never give up. If you get stuck, put it aside, do something else, go back to it later. It took me over a year and a half to write Salvation. And that was only about 80,000 words. I mean, that was probably small compared to a lot of other books. I write slow. I work full time. I write when I can. I do other stories. Sometimes I do some freelance editing. And, I've got the family. You know how family goes. Rejections always. Don't worry about rejections. I always say this. Rejections are just stepping stones to finding the correct home for whatever you're writing. I've had stories been rejected 4 or 5 times, and then boom, somebody takes it. So there's always a home for whatever you're writing. Is there a character you consider to be autobiographical inspired? If you mean based on a real person, that would be me. I've written several stories based on me. I love me. Let's see, I told you about the misophonia. Yes, I have that condition. I wrote a story called Commuting in 8 Deadly Kisses. I was driving home one day, and I was sitting at a light, and everywhere around me, people were all on their phones, not paying any attention. I thought, hell, somebody could carjack me, and nobody would even notice. So I wrote about it. I used a friend of mine's name instead, but the car inside the SUV, everything in the SUV, the drive, the areas, everything was all real. Yes, including the gun in my car. I do live in Texas, after all, right? Also, what was the other story? Sunday Morning It was in Chuck's 50 Shades of Slay, and it is based on a nightmare that I actually had. I just changed the name of the person, but the house is pretty much similar to mine. The dog, my husband's dog, and it's fun if you can write about yourself and change the name, and of course you can make yourself better than you are anyways. I'm definitely tougher in my stories. Oh, and I've also written my husband in a story. Preston's nightmare was in the anthology Sweet Dreams, and the entire story is his nightmare. We ate Chinese food one night, and he decided to take a nap at 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night? Who the hell does that? And he woke up like 30 minutes later. Of course, I don't know how the hell you can dream within 30 minutes, but Chinese food. So. And he came out just stunned, and I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I had a nightmare." I said, "Well, tell me about it." So I whip out my laptop and I start typing away. And I wrote it, and then after I was done with all my go-overs, I gave it to him. I let him read it, and he freaked out. He said, "This was my nightmare, exactly." So nightmares are great fodder. I mean, I love nightmares. If you could talk to any author, dead or alive, who would it be? Oh, Richard Lehman. Seriously. Stephen King might have got me into the start of reading horror, but Richard Lehman got me on the real horror. He got me into different types, extreme, splatterpunk, a little bit of bizarro. I mean, to me, Richard Lehman is the king of horror. Back about 10 years ago, I was on one of the original Richard Lehman forums. There was, I think, about 3 of them at the time. And wow, 10 years ago, forums. I mean, nobody really does forums anymore, but they were a big thing back then. Just shows how old I am. I didn't say that. Do you listen to music when you write? Always. Heavy metal. My favorite band is a Swedish metal band called Sabaton. And in fact, I use their name in my book, Salvation. I listen to a lot of their music. They do historical metal songs about great battles throughout the earth. Doesn't matter what year, what country. I mean, they're inspiring. They make you feel good. I love that band. In fact, we're going to meet them next month, which is this May. And I got tickets. I got VIP tickets. I paid money for the VIP tickets because they're my favorite band. So we're going to actually get to meet them, and I plan on giving them a signed copy of my book. I don't know. They probably get crap from people all the time, but you never know. Maybe they'll get a kick out of it. Maybe they'll read it. Maybe they'll review it. Hey, a review. Oh, wow. Nobody gets reviews anymore, right? Okay, I didn't say that. If there would be a curse, would you prefer to live alone or offer eternal life to a loved one? Yeesh, I'd have to say live alone. There is no way in hell I would curse somebody to live alone by themselves. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it myself, so I'm not going to make somebody else do it. Life's long enough as it is, so I don't want to live forever. Nobody really wants to live forever. I don't care what they say. This is a zombie group, so please, what is your weapon of choice in a zombie? Short swords, axes, something easy to wield with your hands. Guns need ammo. When you run out of ammo, you're screwed. Guns are loud. They bring other people. They bring zombies. Don't do that. Something you can chop off their head, stab through their head, stab in their eye. Okay, I'm getting a little in detail here. Chop off their head with the axe. Something easy to carry. You can use it to chop wood. You can do other stuff with it too. So that's probably the best thing. Fast zombies versus slow zombies. If so, why did you decide for one type? Oh, slow zombies, for sure. Fast zombies, world's gone. I mean, they breed like rabbits, like zombie rabbits. But they would just spread too much. If they were fast, we would never have a chance. The only chance you got is with a slow zombie. So, and besides, they're dead. I mean, what gives them the coordination to run? I mean, they gotta shuffle along and walk into stuff and trip over their own feet. They're zombies. They're dumb. They're stupid. They're dead. Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. The camera didn't break. A little girl didn't come crawling out of the screen, with her hair hanging down, telling you you're going to die in 7 days. Although I could try and do that, but I don't think y'all would like it very much. Okay. Other than going live on a video show, this is my first time doing this. Live sucks. I'm sorry. If you've seen me do live on I did one on Zombie Palooza. I was horrible. So this is way better because I don't actually have someone in front of me waiting for me to answer. I can just say whatever I want, whenever I want. So, well, y'all have a good day, a good night, or whatever you're good at. Later, y'all. Bye.